Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today is a video of me and a friend going around Kanturk in County Cork. So this is similar to my past two videos, this kind of style. You kind of know the format now, just walking around, seeing historical sites and just touring the town. So Kanturk is a very nice town, very forgotten like the other places. It's kind of the capital of North East Cork, or West, I mean Northwest Cork, sorry. But it's a very nice place and it's definitely worth a visit. So I'll stop blabbering on and we'll just get straight into it. Right, so we just got off the bus, just arrived now, and here we are, kind of around the town centre. I think this is O'Brien Street, and you can, we're going to start off the Super Value, I think, get a few snacks and we'll start hitting the road. So this is the local Super Value. We're just getting a quick snack and we'll be walking around soon. So this is Strand Street, which is kind of the main street here. So we have a few shops and stuff. You can see the green and white, which is the local GA colours for here. You might think, and then there's the creamery down there. A Clare flag for some reason. Not exactly sure why, since we're miles away from Clare, but anyway. And you have the Credit Union House, which is a fairly big looking building, and a few just more local shops, cafes and things like that. So fairly nice street. So as you can see from the sign, Kanturk is twinned with a town in called Rosterrennen in 1989 and 2009. It was their, I think their 20-year anniversary. Rosterrennen is a town in the Côte d'Armor department in Brittany in France. So as you probably noticed, a lot of towns in Ireland are twinned with Breton towns due to the whole Celtic overlapping. And here's an example. So this building here is the Egmont House. This is a farmer mill built in 1810. It was both a house and a mill. It was built by the English. It is now a private house. It was redeveloped. It kind of fell into disrepair a small bit, but it's now it's a private house now and someone lives in it. So it's fairly cool to be living in an old mill. And right next to it is a very cool solicitor's office, which is a very old house. Tom O'Sullivan and Co. This is the solicitor's office from the front. It's quite interesting with the kind of grass growing over, or the leaves growing over it. I'm guessing this was an old house and was converted to a solicitor's office. But a lot of the houses along this street, this is the Newmarket Road, I think, they're all very old and they look very interesting. So we're here on the town park now. This is a very nice little park. There's a lot of these little kind of stone bridges around the place. These are little brooks that flow down into the river Dilua, which is the main river in the town, goes over the main bridge. But there's a lot of old kind of things around this park. There's a few statues of animals. There's a few kind of these more modern ones with flowers, and there's a few, I think, of wild boar. So it is all very interesting. So this is the Unity Stone in the park, and there you have the coat of arms of Kanturk up at the top. In Gaeilge, Kanturk, with a boar's head on the top. So the reason that there's so much, you might notice a lot of you visit the town, especially in things like GA and just local signage, is you will see wild boars a lot. There's apparently a wild boar statue somewhere here. The reason for that is that Kanturk in Irish, it means the boar's head, and there's a legend that apparently the last wild boar, native wild boar in Ireland, was shot down here and killed. So to this day, people, the GA club wears the crest of the GA club is the boar's head. The boar's head is on the local flag and it's on the district council as well. So you'll find the boar's head everywhere. And then the Unity Stone is just, I think, just a memory for someone. There's also a memory for someone called Pat Burke, who was apparently who must have been a carpenter, and so I think he must have been a respected member of the community. But anyway, very interesting. So here's the main bridge over the town, over the river. It's a fairly wide river, and there you can see it flowing out over to the mountains and up to kind of around Rock Chapel, back to the Three Counties Scenic Area from December. So this is the North Cork Creameries branch here, a fairly large one. Since we're still we're not really in the Golden Vale, but there still is a good bit of dairying around here. There's proximity to it. Since generally the northwestern corner of Cork is mostly just boggy and forested, but you still have the south of here, you have a lot of dairying. So it's a kind of a hot spot for the local people living in northwest Cork who have for dairy farms. It's a fairly large branch, not as big as like the Dairy Gold in Mallow or Mitchellstone, but it's still fairly big. This is the entrance to the creamery here, towards the exit of the town, so that's kind of an optimal place to have the creamery because you can easily get the lorries out onto the road. This is the Lidl on the outskirts of the town. This is the kind of Lidl for people living in northwest Cork, the only one in the region. A fairly big one and fairly new. It's only been open a few years, but it's quite a nice supermarket. So this is a local fella that we saw on the road up to the castle, a statue for him on the entrance to the town. Sorry about the people screaming in the background, we're next to a house. This is Thaddy Kelleher, who was the winner of the World and All Ireland Ploughing Championships. From the fields of Dohallow, you bring back the waves of our yesterday. You feed the dreams of our tomorrow. Peaceful and strong is the ploughman's way, by John Dillon. So this is a statue of him. So he won the Ploughing Championships. Now they should have Christmas lights around him, even though it's June. But it's fairly interesting. It's a nice little tranquil area just outside the town. Some nice fields and forests up here as well. It's all very good. So another interesting thing here is this is the site of the old railway crossing, or level crossing. The viaduct over the greenfield, the railway crossing next to the castle, Percival Street, which is back in the town, the railway station, and the railway crossing from the castle. So this was an old line that ran from Bantier to Newmarket. So Bantier was the only place in this area that still has a train station left. So as you know, as I've said many times before, many train stations have been closed across Ireland, which is a shame because it would make things a lot easier to get into these places. And it's also more relaxing, and they're just helpful. They might bring them back in the future, they say. But this was the old station, back in the town. But now I think it's just a road, and it goes on to Newmarket and ends there. But quite interesting to see. So this 100 years ago was the site of a railway crossing. So this is the other sign to welcome into the town. It's a bit more of an interesting one. So you have the music, the family, the horses. I haven't seen any horses around here, and the GA. So this is generally just for the whole Dahallow barony. It's obviously sponsored by the European Union and the Council. And there's websites to look into the Dahallow barony, since Kanturk is generally considered the capital of Dahallow. So we finally arrived at the castle. It's a stunning castle. It's really cool. It's still in very, very good condition. This was built, I think, in the 1600s by the McCarthy McDonaghs, and it was never finished. McCarthy McDonaghs were the lords of Dahallow, and they were the dominant clan in this part, as well as parts of southern Limerick and eastern Kerry. They had a few rivals in the area, other clans like the McAughleys and a few other ones. So they built this huge structure, but it was never finished. The McCarthys were eventually taken over by English settlers, started pouring into the area, and they seized control of the castle. And so the castle was never finished, but the English settlers were never allowed to finish the castle, so the castle was kind of left abandoned. Obviously, it was a bit more. There was a bit more to it back in those days, in the 1600s, but it's just kind of been left as a bit of in good condition, a fairly good ruin. Similar to kind of Trim Castle in Meath, or the Lisdole Castle from Christmas. So this is the front facade. So from nowadays, it looks quite old, but it was actually more of kind of a plantation castle, kind of 1600s. Since it was the 1600s, it wasn't like medieval. It was coming towards the end of the medieval times and more towards the Renaissance. So the doorway has a classical feature, but it was carved out with someone with an impeccable or imprecise understanding of classical architecture. So I think it was meant to be designed off of like Italian works in the Renaissance. It was also, there's a neighbouring castle nearby called Drummondine Castle, which is 13 kilometres to the southeast. I'm not sure exactly where that is. I'm not sure if that's even in Cork. But it was a fairly important castle at the time, as I said, for the McCarthys to defend against the McAughleys and I think the O'Callaghan's and other neighbouring rival clans in the area, since they were the most important clan and most powerful. So it is, the facade is still in fairly good nick. So we're going to go inside now. So at the front of the castle you can see the gun loops. So these were little gun and archer loops. So these are here and here and here. These were little slots that they put in most castles across the world. So usually they were for bows and arrows, but since it's kind of more, since guns were a thing at this point, muskets, so they were little slots for muskets. So you have a fella with a musket in there, and if there was an attacking force coming in, they'd shoot them. And then it would be very hard for the attacking soldiers to get in. There was also another trick that they did where they poured hot tar or water from up there on the second floor up onto the army below. And then it says here on the sign, the image is that it was also kind of an area for imprisoned soldiers. and is the absence of the maculation, apart from its corbels, gave it the appearance because it was never finished. So all very good. So some of the things are very clear up here. You can also see the old fireplaces. So there's a few old fireplaces like this one here. So obviously these were originally going to be rooms, so you have fireplaces there as well. But you can kind of make it out. So it was going to be about 3 or 4 stories tall. You'd probably have a lower bit down here and divide into a few separate rooms. And you probably have a few bedrooms up there, things like that. But since it was never finished, we never got to see any of that. There's actually, there's a dead crow in here. But yeah, it's make out a few more up here. These were possibly bedrooms, and a bit fell down here, obviously. Weathering and age takes its toll. So we're on the way to get a bit of dinner, so I said I'd just give a small bit of general information for those who don't know. So Kanturk is a market town in the northwest part of Cork, generally considered the capital of northwest Cork, the capital of the barony of Duhallow, as I said before. It's in the civil parish of Clonfert and the Catholic parish of Kanturk and Lismoyer. I'm not exactly sure what the population is. A fairly big place. As I said before, all the information, the Kanturk, Boar's Head, all that, has a few streets, and is in general just a very nice place. It's squeezed up not too far from Kerry and Limerick. Nearby towns are Newmarket, and there's a few nearby villages like Rathchapel and Meelan and things like that. And Mallow isn't too far away either. So we go to La Nostra Pizza for a bit of dinner. This is a very famous and very good takeaway in town. So we're on the way to go see the churches, the courthouse, the market house, and any other little sites we can see along the way. It's up here onto Percival Street, I think. So that's another interesting. So after the McCarthys left, well, the McCarthys were the very important family here for hundreds of years upon years. But then when the English came, the Percival family were very dominant here. They built, so originally Kanturk was just rural lands, a few farms and a few castles like the castle we were just at. But then when the Percivals came in, they made it into the lovely market town it is today. So that's why a lot of the buildings here are kind of old Georgian English styles. You can kind of see that. But anyway, we'll go and see the stuff. So this is the courthouse. I was surprised to learn, so this was actually only closed in 2010. Used to still be open for cases, but it's now closed and it's just kind of a historical landmark. I think this was built around the 1800s, probably still built by the Percival family. Similar to, as I was saying, with the Kingstons and Mitchelstown, the Percivals are essentially what they were, but from Kanturk. But yeah, so it's gone now, but it's still a cool historical building. So this is the Church of the Immaculate Conception, the Catholic church in the area, fairly old building, and I think this is the kind of the head for the parish of the Catholic parish of Kanturk and Lismore. So this is where it all kind of is governed. So this is the entrance. So it was built in I think either 1867 or 1912. I think 1867, but it's quite a big church actually. But we'll take a little look inside, but we won't film inside obviously. These are the boar statues outside, so you've got a little family of boars. You have a father, a mother and a child. No, I don't have enough time to go in and look at them properly, but they're interesting. So once again, a sign of the culture with the whole boar's head Kanturk thing. So what we only learnt now is that the Credit Union House is actually the former market house. It was also built as a clock house, as you can see, and it goes off at every hour. But it's a 19th century, so it's 1800s, probably built by the Percivals as well. So that's the last site. We don't actually have enough time to go see the St. Peter's Protestant Church because we're running out of time. But overall, we've had a great day here, and we highly recommend a visit. Right, so we're back on the bus again, heading home now. After having an amazing day here, totally worth the visit. We definitely recommend this to anyone who's in the area, living or visiting, or just in general, just around. We definitely recommend it. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.